All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's fantastic to see you. Please take a seat. If you have a heads up, sit down. Thank you. All right. Let's kick off. Welcome. My name is Alexis de Kerkhove. I'm Senior Director for Marketing in Xylem Europe. I'm really excited to see you all today here. It's fantastic to see such a crowd and a nice face in physics. I mean, real people, no more avatars, no more screens between us. I'm so happy. Welcome. I give few more seconds for everyone to get a chance to take headphones. We are the last thing between you and lunch, but hopefully we have an extra couple minutes at the end. We have a very exciting session. In the next hour, we have the chance to have a lot of great people on the stage. We will start with a nice keynote speech from our executives and from our Xylem leaders. And I will introduce them in a minute. And then that will be followed by a panel discussions, giving the chance to our client and customer to share their experience on how our partnership with Xylem is paying off for them. But more of all, I'm so excited to be here on this event to all together intend to redefine what's possible for water. Really discover together what is Xylem Vue that we're opening today with you together in this stage. So please stay tight on the edge of the chair, standing up, and follow us all the way through. I'm really looking forward to it. So, as we kick off, I'd like to invite our President of Europe, Hayati Arkadas. Thank you.
Thank you.
He will be followed by Michael Nutchke, the Director of Business Development in Europe, and Anna Almlöf, Managing Director of Sweden. So the floor is yours, Hayati. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you hear me well? Fantastic. Well, first of all, thank you everyone joining us. Appreciate it. You're making the choice that you made to join us to have this conversation and the panel. I'll say at the beginning a couple of words, and then I'll invite my colleagues to come and share the panel. As we all know very well, water challenges are accelerating all around the world. And combined with urbanization and climate challenge is putting even more pressure on the issues that we face all over the world with water scarcity, affordability of water, and the aging infrastructure that we have all over the world. Xylem, we believe the partnerships and use of technology will be the way in solving these ever-increasing issues that we have with water in the world. Good news is, the technologies that we need to solve these problems, they are here and they are accessible to all of us. Let me give you an example from a customer, a utility customer of Xylem in a beautiful city of South Bend in Indiana in the US. City faced major water issues, particularly with sewer overflows when we engage with the customer. The sewer overflows, multiple of them in a year that they were having, they were polluting their local rivers with that water and polluted water into the rivers. The authorities stepped in and called for a immediate action by the city. Upgrading the whole sewer network for the city would have costed the city $700 million. Guess what? That was not an option. City could not afford $700 million of investment. City partnered with us, with our digital technologies and a local university, and together we built a smart sewer system, network system, to optimize the whole sewer network that the city had. The system powered by Xylem's digital technology, real-time sensors collecting data and employing machine learning, can constantly gathering data from multiple points. We were able to improve the performance for the city significantly. The outcome for the customer was extraordinary. By the end of the project, the city managed to cut sewer overflows by 70%, preventing 1 billion gallons of water being dumped into the local rivers, and as importantly, saving the city $400 million in capital expenditures. That's the power of leveraging digital solutions to solve water, which is our mission as a company. Today, we are here to bring these technologies to whole world with the Xylem Vue launch that we have recently done. Utilities have ambitious water targets, and as I said earlier, it will take partnerships, technology to reach these objectives. Xylem, with unparalleled digital technologies that we invested in organically and developed organically, is here to partner with you, with our utility customers, to bring solutions to these serious issues that we have. I'm going to close with few words from Kieran Fye from Department of Public Works in South Bend that we worked together over a couple of years. He was asked to comment about the partnership he and his team had with Xylem. And I'm going to read the quote. Working with Xylem, we have always felt that they had something at stake. They have made our lives easier. When you find partners like this that you can trust, embrace it. Because if you do, you can reach extraordinary outcomes. We are here to partner with you to build a more sustainable future that we are all heading to. Thank you so much. And with that, I would like to introduce Michael Nutchke, Director of our Business Development for Xylem. Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Thank you, Hayati, for these extreme powerful examples of our digital opportunities that we are facing. And I'm very proud to be here to be part of the Xylem Vue launch. And I'm also happy to guide you through some of the examples. I mean, Hayati said that climate change on the one hand side is really stressing with floods and droughts, and also the urbanization is stressing our water resources on the one hand side. And on the other hand side, we have stricter regulation as a consequence of this, and the demand to become more efficiency to protect our water resources. This brings our clients and decision makers, enterprise decision makers, technical decision makers, and also the operator to a situation where they really need a trustful partner that really helps them making the right decisions at the right time in a language they need to make to protect their resources and maintain their efficiency. So what is Xylem Vue? Xylem Vue is a platform, is a solution platform that on the one hand side is able to protect the assets top down from the device up towards the data management layer to really protect the secure performance of it, and on the other way, even more important, is able to have a holistic view on the entire processes, being responsible to reach the next level of efficiency and the next level of security. So this platform needs to be interoperable, secure, and scalable at the same time, and as well as open to really adopt to the client workflows. That is Xylem Vue from the technology perspective. And if you look at the domain and the domain expertise, it is not limited to only work on wastewater treatment plants. It really starts at the raw water intake and ends at the fourth treatment step. So it really covers the entire water cycle. And we are really proud of that. So that is Xylem Vue from the platform perspective. If we go next, what is Xylem Vue as well? Xylem Vue is people, hydroinformatics people working closely together with experts from security, from monitoring and control, from water resource management in an interdisciplinary team. It's a difficult word, right? To provide the best solution to really achieve the best outcomes for the customer. That is Xylem Vue from the people perspective. And even more important, these people are working globally, but we can really bring them together in any locations of the world to solve the water resource problems. If we go to the next slide, please. We have an example here of the city of Cuxhaven, one of the early adopters of our artificial intelligence. We were able to reduce the energy consumptions in the aeration by 30%, which equals in 1.2 million kilowatt hours in the year. That makes a real difference. So we also have clients that started with us the journey on that way, getting more energy efficient on the one hand side, targeting net zero, and then accelerating up to net positive. They understand themselves as a virtual power plant at the same time. I really heard the quote from one of our clients, clean water, we can do this since years. Now we're really looking at the energy production. And I think this, I believe, this is where the future is of Xylem Vue. Next slide, please. So I would like to close with a quote from Jennifer Vue from the hydromatics team here. She really said that is an awesome opportunity to be part of that team to really make an impact on the water world's challenges. And I just can underline this and repeat this also for myself. I'm very proud to be part of that team. With that, I would like to close and I would like to hand over to Anna.
Thank you, Michael, and it's great to be here with you today. Thank you all for coming and listening. Michael spoke a little bit about our organizational approach and how we are partnering with a German customer to look into the overall process, how we can build a customized architecture that covers the whole treatment process. Now I will spend a few minutes talking a little bit more about our operational view and how we can actually connect the physical assets on a subsystem level and make sure that we digitalize even that part of the business. So Xylem Vue can really bring immediate gainings on systems management when we're talking about asset management, task management, or processes. And that, of course, we do in a way so that we optimize it from a cost perspective as well. And one example of that is our secured networking solution, where we really have and enable the integration with existing equipment, I/O, and etc. So that's an important part. And we can support you in your daily operations, and that's very important, looking at the data, looking at how it can be analyzed, the mobility, and in that sense really being along with you on your overall digital journey. In addition to that, our solution approach is transformational, meaning that we really try to make sure that we can support you to extract only the useful data, only the data that you need that will help you on your daily decision making, real-time data, something that is totally useful day to day in your operation. And instead of then having to store massive amounts of data that you don't really know how you should use, where you should take it from. An example of this is really the Avenser, Xylem Avenser, which is our remote monitoring opportunity, where we can allow for remote monitoring of, for example, the pump stations, but also other equipment that the operators need to monitor. And the good thing about this is that the Avenser platform that we use is supported 24/7 by our application center a network operating center, so that obviously it's very, very critical that the alarms get through. And by having this NOC that supports the application, we know that that critical resource is always available day to day when you really need it. An example of this is actually from the port of Trelleborg. The port of Trelleborg is Scandinavia's largest port for certain vessels, the ones that really need to go on let's say the cargo vessels, wheeled cargo. And in Trelleborg there was a big challenge with the wastewater pumps. Obviously it's now very, very important that you can take care of the wastewater when the vessels come in, and that this part is working smoothly and that you can charge it correctly. And this was a challenge for the port of Trelleborg. In addition to that, there were issues with flooding and stoppages, etc. So what the port of Trelleborg decided to do was to partner with Xylem to implement the Flicht concertor pumps into their system with integrated intelligence and with Avensor. And the Avensor system was then integrated into their SCADA system. So what this really means is that whenever there is an alarm, it immediately shows up in their SCADA system, but then they can click and they can go into, they can go into the Avensor application and really look and see what is this alarm about. Is it something that we can solve ourselves, or would we need the Xylem staff and the Xylem service technicians to come out and help us in this? And the good thing about that is that the Avensor is available on basically any device. You can have it on your smartphone, you will have it on the tablet, and you will of course also be able to have it on your computer. So this has meant a lot for the port of Trelleborg. They can now operate much more secure and safe, and they know when something needs fixing, and they know that everything is up and running. And of course they can be much more proactive because they can detect when things are starting to slow down, when there seem to be something wrong with the operation. I have a quote from Håkan Nilsson, who is the service manager at the port of Trelleborg, and he's saying the following: with Avensor, the port can now keep track of its pump stations and keep statistics on water level, flows, the amount of power used, and how fast the pumps are running. The operators also know when a station needs servicing, which is completely new to the service staff. Today, the port of Trelleborg continues to grow, and they will have many new pump stations by the end of 26, because the port is running very successfully. So I think that at Xylem we are working really every day to give you the right tools and the right analysis so that you can really solve the greatest water problems. And just as Hayati said, we are here to solve water, to help you solve water, and to help to move into a more sustainable society. So we think that with our digital solutions, we can really help you get the right insight so that you can deliver extraordinary outcomes to your operation, but of course also to the society where you operate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, Michael, Hayati. What an inspiring talk, what an inspiring call to actions. I'm really excited. We have intermissions now for seconds, but what I understand here is that we are, as we set up the stage for our next panel now, we are integrating 100 years of experience, as Michael said, globally experience in water management with a full suite of digital solutions at Xylem. How powerful is that? Incredible. Wherever our customer sits, wherever they sit in their organizations, and independently of the maturity of their digital infrastructure, Xylem Vue can adapt, shape the right solutions to create the highest value, meeting the objectives of the strategic goals of the clients. So what I understand here is that Xylem Vue is nowhere to unlock its full potential without true partnership. And this is what I would like to make you experience today by inviting on the stage our special guest today. And I will call first Regina Knurst. Welcome. You are Head of Research and Engineering at Berlin Water. Thank you very much for being with us today. You're joined by your Xylem partner, Gunnar Bergman, Director of Business Development at Xylem. Welcome. We have a very special guest connecting remotely. Waynand, can you hear us? Maybe you can unmute yourself, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. You will be on the screen in a minute. Oh, you are on the screen in a minute. Thank you. Waynand, you are urban advisor at the Waterboard of AN Maas from the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us today. You are joined today with your Xylem partner, Joost Alosere, Business Development Director at Xylem. Thank you. And then our third guest today is Adam. Can you hear me still? Adam Asham is Head of Engineering and Maintenance Services at Yorkshire Water. Welcome. Thank you. A little technical problem. Perfect. And you're joined today by David Kirkham, Head of Client Relationship at Xylem. I'd like everyone to really give a full round of applause to our guests. Thank you very much. It's fantastic to have you on the screen. And as we discussed, we will intend to get you full first experience of partnership. And I will call and turn to you, Regina and Gunnar, to share with us that experience. Gunnar, may I ask you the first questions? How did you first get into contact with Berlin Water and share that experience with us?
Yeah, thanks, Alexis. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Wonderful. So, when did I first meet you, Regina? I think it was at the beginning of my second Xylem life. So, I rejoined Xylem in 2019 to develop together with Joost and another colleague the digital solutions in Europe. And it was in late summer 2019 where I also had my first trip through Germany, meeting German clients, discussing with them the possibilities regarding sewer management, sewer operation, control and operation. And we were meeting 4 to 5 clients in that week, finishing in Berlin, where I first met you, Regina, and your department. And I was heavily impressed by the capabilities which Berlin had already during the time, regarding also artificial intelligence, regarding tools and support methods for the sewer operation. And since then, we stayed in contact. We had several discussions, either with you or with your teams, because it's so critical for us to really understand the challenges and also the goals of the clients. Because we think only then a partnership is possible. And then I think we started a partnership in a few areas. But before I'm talking too much about it, I think, Regina, it's better that you inform it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Maybe just some words about the Berliner Wasserbetriebe. We are serving 3.6 million inhabitants with drinking water coming right from the system in Berlin, from the area. And we are operating 6 wastewater treatment plants in our responsibility. And there we try to have the transformation done from just treating the water, we've heard it before, to also be energy sufficient, to transform our operators in the understanding, and therefore we realize we cannot just buy a product and operate it, but we have to develop the sensor technology, the operation suggestions in an assistance system where our knowledge is implemented and the knowledge of the Xylem team, and that worked perfectly. I think we had a couple of beers together.
Thank you very much, Regina. Great interventions. And can you tell us the first partnership projects at Xylem and what outcomes did they get?
Yeah, the first project was, since we run a semi-closed water cycle in Berlin, we have to treat the wastewater on a higher standard, and we use equipment, ozonation, ozonation will increase the energy demand on the wastewater process. And so our goal together was to develop a more sensor-oriented ozonation process. And I think we did some very good invention in applying the ozone dose in terms of the trace organic load, and that saves us at least 20% of the ozone we estimated in the beginning. So that was important. We are building actually the biggest ozonation plant, and the other thing we are recently developing is that we have the load efficient in the wastewater treatment process. Yeah, we are still running, the operators make suggestions, and you try to just tackle it. And I think that's a good collaboration to also transform the willingness of our operators to believe in the solutions. Because if you just sell plug-in, it's not the possibility that they really trust the products. And so this collaboration will help us to be really trendsetters in the development of digitalization, and not just automatization and run the system, but really bring the ideas together. And again, the load efficiency, I mean, you mentioned the 30%, it's not this high for a large wastewater treatment plant, but we hope that we will have 12% savings in these terms.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Gunnar, would you like to add anything on the partnership on your side?
Well, I can just say I really enjoy it, because it's
good. We can hear you fine.
Because also what Hayati said at the beginning, you cannot solve the problems alone. It is always a combination. It is always a collaboration which is needed. And trustful communication, open communication, the willingness to find goals together is, I think, what is really the basis of such a collaboration. And I think, Hayati, you mentioned at the beginning, when you find such a partner, I think you mentioned it from utility side, but I can also emphasize from Xylem side, if you find such a partner on the municipal side, it is just so important to continue developing new solutions, new innovations together. And so I'm really happy that you're here, that you develop these projects together, and that we have such a partnership.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. I will turn now to Wijnand Turkenstein and in Joost. Wijnand, we have you on the screen, so it's fantastic to see you. Welcome. Joost, if you can hear me okay. Let me ask you the same question. How did you first get into contact with the Waterboard of AA in Maas? Can you tell us a bit more?
The Waterboard is an interesting one because I'm actually living in the same operational area where the Waterboard is operating. But with Wijnand specifically, I think now 3.5 years ago, in addition to what Gunnar was saying, I think with Berlin Wasserbetrieb, I was also impressed because the Waterboard is looking ahead to what are the future needs. And we had several discussions, and they were already looking into the treatment plant optimization. And Wijnand specifically extended that conversation to look into the wastewater network. And that was 3.5 years ago, and it has been a pleasure since as well. But maybe, Wijnand, it's good to give some introduction to the Waterboard, as well as to your objectives.
Well, thank you, Joost, for the introduction. First, let me clarify, I work for a Waterboard, and I think it changed something like 20 years ago. We used to be very operational kind of organization, but nowadays we have board members that are being elected. So in total we have a general board of 30 elected board members, coming from 7 different political parties. And we have 3 daily board members that sort of run the operation. And as a Waterboard, we aim for a water system that is safe, because we have big rivers in the Netherlands, so we need to be safe, protecting ourselves with levees. And we want a water system that has clean water, and there should be enough water for everybody. Well, and if I focus on the clean water side, then there's a big challenge, I think, for all of us in Europe, because the European Water Framework Directive states that we need to improve the water quality in our water system. And we have 7 wastewater treatment plants, and they contribute a lot to the to the amount of phosphor and nutrients in our surface water. So that's something that we should have to work on as a waterboard for the next coming years. And Joost was already mentioning we are trying to optimize the treatment plants ourselves. But if we want to reach the goals of the European Water Framework Directive, that's going to cost us a lot of money. And an easy way would be to add an extra treatment step to each treatment plant. And that roughly would cost us 100 million euro, which is quite a lot of money. But our approach as a waterboard is different. So we believe we can optimize our treatment plants ourselves. And with the discussions we had with Xylem and the studies we have done, is that if we can optimize the flows towards our treatment plants, we can reduce the amount of nutrients and phosphor in the effluent by, let's say, 20 to 30%, which is a huge step. But for that, if we want to optimize these flows, we need a digital platform. And I think today is the best moment to bring forward that we've started this project with Xylem, and we think it's going to be a big step forward. That's going to be a technical challenge. So we are sort of in the process of starting this project. And what you see is that you need to make a lot of digital connections between different parties. But yeah, it's an interesting project.
But maybe, Wijnand, can you tell a little bit more about the project and also the phases that we are going into? Because like 3.5 years ago, we started really with a discovery, right? And with some other projects specifically. And in your area, you have 20 municipalities. So what does it mean to take all of these different stakeholders on board within this project? And what do we actually do by building the platform?
That's a lot of questions at the same time, yes. But exactly. So we have 20 different municipalities connected to these 7 wastewater treatment plants. With the digital network, we want to connect to the SCADA systems from each municipality so that we know what is happening in the sewer systems, how much wastewater is coming towards the treatment plant, and how can we optimize these flows to the treatment plant. The more stable the flows are to the treatment plants, the better. The other side of the platform will be that we optimize the treatment plant itself. So it will look at the data coming from the treatment plant and giving new set points to the treatment plant, whereas nowadays the operator would have to manually reset the settings every 2 weeks. The platform can do this 24/7. So that's going to improve, hopefully, the quality of the effluent as well. And yeah, Joost, as you mentioned, 20 municipalities, to get them all on board, that's quite a challenge. So first we start with a discovery with the municipality, asking them, is there something we can do together in terms of reducing overflows from the combined sewer systems, or can we reduce or optimize the flows to the treatment plant? Can we reduce flooding issues? And let's deep dive into this during a discovery project. And if that turns out successfully, then we sort of want to ask them to join us in our journey to this digital path.
Thanks, Wijnand. I think one final thing to ask is, we mentioned the fun that we are having, right, working together for 3.5 years.
Very important.
But one thing I want to add is that optimization makes you actually hungry for further optimization. That's what I'm seeing working with you and the rest of your team at the Waterboard, right? We are talking about emissions, how to deal with laughing gas on treatment plants and so on, further optimization. How have you experienced the partnership working with us? And how have you actually, what's the difference? Why have you chosen Xylem from a partnership perspective?
I think I can say, from my point of view, quite easily that Xylem is always looking for the best product for me as a client. The product is not the end result, but it's my colleagues that need to be happy with the products that you're delivering. I think that's why there's so much satisfaction about our partnership, because I bring in a problem, and you try to find the best solution for me, and then sort of work together to get the best solution for the whole organization, and not just my organization, but also the organization from the municipalities. And like we said, we need to make a lot of steps in this process together. So it's good that we understand each other. Everybody has its struggles in their own organization. It's good that we can help out each other.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mainland. It's very inspiring and very great to hear that as your experience with Xylem. Mindful of time, I will turn towards Adam. Adam and David, welcome. How about your experience? Can you share a bit more about your first interactions with Yorkshire Water, and how did it develop into the partnership that you have today?
Yeah, no problem. Quite an interesting journey. It's been a good couple of days, Adam and I, sort of going back over the history and some of the times our paths have crossed in the past. But when I think back to maybe around between 2005 and 2010, I was actually a customer of Xylem then. I was a colleague of Adam's, and my role was all about understanding why assets were unreliable or expensive. And then when I moved towards working for Xylem, then that role kind of continued as we like to say, a trusted advisor. And then Adam obviously then transcended into working in an engineering function, so working in maintenance. But at that time, all of the engineering services were outsourced to somebody else. So Xylem obviously worked well across all those partners to try and fill some of those gaps. And we worked on all the products that Xylem had, and that's why I like to refer to these products like Flight and Leopold as gateway products, because having that relationship and building that mutual trust and confidence has really allowed us to then talk in much more detail with some of the new Xylem Vue solutions. So it was great to hear from Adam the journey of bringing all the engineering services back in-house, and I'm sure Adam will want to talk a lot more about moving forward into the future and the strategic direction of Yorkshire. So I'll over to you, Adam.
Thanks, Dave. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. So as Alexis and Dave said, my name's Adam Ashman. I'm the head of engineering for Yorkshire Water. Yorkshire Water is a fantastically lucky organisation because we're based in a beautiful part of the world. Everyone I speak to, I tell the same story. So Yorkshire, blessed with natural resources. And our job, similar to the guys, is to protect that natural environment. We take the raw water from our upland reservoirs and aquifers. We produce drinking water for 5.5 million customers, and then we collect that through our sewerage network, and we then obviously return that to the environment through our waste treatment processes, recovering the sludge and treating that as a waste stream of its own. So and as Dave said, we've worked together now for longer than we care to think, actually, but quite some time. And our organisation is very focused on a number of strategic objectives. So firstly, we're looking to create resilience within our assets, within our processes and our systems. We're looking to improve the service that we provide to those 5.5 million customers. We're looking at making life simpler for our colleagues. So there's around 4,000 colleagues who I work with, and every day we're trying to make their life and their work easier. And then finally, we're also looking at growth. So Yorkshire is a prosperous and growing region. We've got population growth. We're looking at how we can absorb that and optimise our treatment processes to avoid having to build more and do more work. That's all underpinned by our drive to be operationally excellent. So everything we do, striving to be operationally excellent. And that is what makes Yorkshire Water. So like everyone, we have challenges, and I guess the three big challenges at the moment are, firstly, our customers are demanding a higher level of environmental stewardship. So I say Yorkshire's a beautiful region, and it absolutely is, but there's a big objective there to protect the water environment. and customers are demanding a greater level of protection. Second piece is around UK regulation is changing, becoming tighter. It's focusing us more on the monitoring of our processes and how they interact with the environment. So we have a challenge to the way we operate. This is a whole new way to think about how we monitor and adjust processes, optimize. So, big opportunities working with Dave and the team there. And the final challenge is one really a big social obligation that's risen its head this year is around the cost of our service. So like everyone, we're suffering from commodity price increases, energy cost increases, and we have a responsibility to keep our water bills low for our customers at a time when, as an organisation, we're under significant financial pressure. So that is a challenge. We don't have an answer, but it is something that we're looking to all of our partners to help us find ways to do the work we do, but to better value.
Oh, thanks, Adam. I mean, as we look around today, a lot of the stories are all referring back to the quality of our products and the benefits that they give, and I'd like to just let our products speak for themselves, but I'd be really interested to hear the importance of these partnerships that you have, the people that you interact with and the people that your colleagues interact with within Xylem. So yeah, it'd just be great to get a few words to understand the importance of that, and good or bad, it'd be great to get your view. Thanks, Adam.
Okay, so yeah, so we are an organisation that's built on relationships. So we work really well together, and that extends to our partners. So, we've worked together for a long time. There's a lot of trust builds up in that. Xylem as an organisation has a very similar set of values to Yorkshire Water, and that's really important to us. So working with people we can trust. You're trying to solve the same problems on a global level, taking innovation from other areas and evolving those products. And we need to be able to work with people we trust so that we can see through what can be a very busy market to look for what's going to work for us. We're a conservative organisation. We don't do change quickly, but what we need to be able to, through working with yourselves, look for the right solution and implement. So yeah, I see it very much about the relationship, Dave.
Thanks, Adam.
Quick question, Adam. Do you have an example of a specific applications of the partnerships and outcomes that that has already been proven on your organization?
Yeah, well, I guess there's two that I can talk about, Alexis. So first one's slightly different. So back in 2015, we created the first logistics hub for the water industry in the UK, and at that time, it was obviously new. The first partner on board was Xylem. So we worked with it was Chris Harvey at the time to create a stock offering inside Yorkshire with Xylem products, and that allowed us to reduce our mean time to repair, and allowed us to improve our overall asset availability. So big win for us, and it's something that we still put a lot of effort into getting the right stock for our assets today. The second area is something that we're just embarking on. So we're looking at replacing some of our more traditional pumping stations with the new Concerta pump. We're doing around about 700 pumping stations over the next 18 months. And that's a huge opportunity for us in terms of the benefits we'll get. We've seen the case studies, we understand where the product will help us. But I think we've also got an opportunity to work at a program level on a piece of work like that. So big project and an opportunity for us to look at how we can make efficiencies through the delivery and drive out some value that way. So yeah, very much in progress.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really great. I'm mindful of everybody's time and understand. I'd like to open to the audience to questions. Otherwise, I have plenty of them, but I want to make sure that people here listening get a chance to express and ask their questions to our special guests. So feel free to raise your hand. Ellen here has a microphone that we can pass around. As we let you reflect on your questions, let me go first then. And Regina, a question for you. how do you think that then the biggest success are for digital solutions to impact the water sector? Would you have an experience that you can share with us?
Yeah, the challenge is that we are not only cleaning the water, but also using more renewable energy in our plant, and therefore we need collaboration also with energy companies. We need to look on a broader phase with the city, so the smart city context is important, and to understand that our people in the operator mode has to be put on the higher level. Yeah, they really have to know that they can play around. You talked about that you need to adopt to the digital solution and not only say I do the automatization plan. So it's really this getting new ideas during your collaboration. That's the inspiring point, because we have problems, you have products, and in the end it does not turn out just one implementation, but a totally new idea. That's what I'm looking at. And energy, I mean, we are looking now not only in our wastewater treatment plant, but also on the whole scale with cars, electrical cars, with a gas market. And I don't think anybody of us has the solution right now, though.
Okay, wow, really inspiring. And I fully agree that the more we intend to connect the water sectors to other resources like energy and food and so on, the more we'll be able to build synergies in how we interact, right? I mean, water needs energy, energy needs water. It is something that is extremely valuable for the society, especially moving to smart. Great, thank you very much. Moving to you, Wayne, if you hear us, maybe we can put you back on the screen, but a question for you is, what would you recommend to your peers in the utility sector in terms of like moving forward from strategic goals from an organization like yours towards specific implementations of projects? What recommendations would you have?
Well, what I noticed myself is that strategic goals can be pretty clear, even the solutions that you can find in a traditional way. But today we're looking at like what we call the digital transition. And if you want to use that as part of the solution that you're aiming for, you need to start connecting a lot of dots with people from ICT. They have to be connected to the policymakers, and they have to be connected to the operators at the treatment plant. So it goes across your company from left to right and from bottom to top. And that requires, even within Xylem, I believe, we have to make these cross lines together. And we have to be sharp on not only focusing on the digital side, but also on the questions that are there. And I think Xylem up until now is doing a great job here. But so I would definitely recommend Xylem in this one, but also to be aware that there are still people needed to make these connections.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Wayne. May I ask you the same question, Adam? What recommendations would you have for your peers when it comes to, moving from the strategy that you receive from your organizations? You mentioned some conservative moves and so on, but you need to get them down into impactful project, right? Yeah. What would you recommend? How to tackle that?
So we've just gone through an exercise to build a roadmap or a transformation plan, if you like, looking at how we will deliver our strategic objectives. And I think there's probably two things that I would tease out from that activity. The first one is make sure that you understand the data, the asset, the equipment, and make sure that you get that right. So we're spending an awful lot of time now correcting records and making sure that we understand our baseline in terms of our assets. The second one is make sure that you get good people around and build a plan that's realistic and but you can deliver. And I think get your data right, get good people, and build that plan. And I think you get where you want to go.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adam. I would like to thank you all for these fantastic participations. I mean, it has been something groundbreaking for us here at IFAT to have you on stage, to have you sharing your experience in how participation is critical. I'd like to close by saying that personally for me at Xylem and within the water sector, I find this a very exciting time because we now have a great opportunity to build the future of water together. Many challenges are facing us, but what we all know is that we won't be able to do it alone. And Xylem Vue, through the partnership, can truly unlock so many solutions as you witnessed through your collaborations. So once again, many thanks for being here with us today. And I would like a big round of applause from everyone to our guests. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wayne, for being here with us today. It has been a pleasure. We will disconnect now. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Well done.
Thank you.
Feel better now? Relief?